Hello, friends. Today I decided to read a chapter from a book that I am recently reading. It's called The Untethered Soul. Um, Michael A. Singer, and I just read one chapter. I just finished the other book I was reading, The Big Magic, which was phenomenal because it was about it's actually this book, The Big Magic. So I finished this one, and I highly recommend this one. And I made a video about it too. And this one, I actually learned it from one of the comedian. I forgot the name, and he recommended three books, and I happened to be reading this chapter few minutes earlier, and then I just it just put a huge impact on me, this simple chapter, and I just immediately felt that I need to share it, and also find another chance to read it again for all of you. And this is the chapter 5. It's called The Infinite Energy. So I would suggest this book is for people. um, I feel everybody should read it, but um, I'm not sure if I was reading this book when I was 15 years old or when I was 20 years old, how would I react to this book, or how would I react to the ideas that I learned from this small chapter. So I think people who seek for spirituality or try to understand the transcending nature that our human mind has, I think it's sort of like a spiritual growth of some sense, that we grow over time, over experience, through our life struggles, through our um, interaction with the nature, with the world, with other people. We get to realize more and more. And when we are constantly asking that who we are, what is our purpose, whether there's heaven or hell, whether uh, why am I doing what I am doing, all these questions that arise, maybe not very often, because most of our days we are doing daily mundane work. We are trying to survive, trying to find a means to earn money, to have a living, to make ourselves happy and our friends and families happy. But then there are times when you ask the question that why is it all for? And having a purpose, as we all know, ultimately, or having a goal, ultimately leads towards a meaningful or productive way of living. So, for those who are in such state or such stage of life where you are looking for something, look, you have many questions inside your mind and you want answer, or many things that you don't understand. For those, I would highly recommend this book, but everybody should read this book. And I would also like to see, like, when I get older, when I'm like 20 years from now, if I read this book, how I feel about it. That would be an interesting experiment. So the chapter is chapter 5, Infinite Energy. So I am just going to read from it. Consciousness is one of the great mysteries in life. Inner energy is another. It's actually a shame how little attention the Western world pays to the laws of inner energy. We study the energy outside and give great value to energy resources, but we ignore the energy within. People go about their lives thinking, feeling, and acting, without the understanding of what makes these activities take place. The truth is, every movement of your body, every emotion you have, and every thought that passes through your mind is an expenditure of your energy. Just as everything that happens outside in the physical world requires energy, everything that happens inside requires an expenditure of energy. For example, if you concentrate on a thought and another thought interferes, you will have to assert an opposing force to fight the interfering thought. That requires energy and it can wear you out. Likewise, if you have a thought that you are trying to hold in your mind but it keeps drifting off, you have to willfully concentrate to bring it back. When you do this, you are actually sending more energy to the thought in order to hold it in a given place. You also assert energy to deal with your emotions. If you have an emotion you don't like and it's interfering with what you are doing, you just push it aside. You do this almost instinctively so that the unwanted emotion doesn't come up and disturb you. Every one of these acts is an expenditure of energy. Creating thoughts, holding on to thoughts, recalling thoughts, generating emotions, controlling emotions, and disciplining powerful inner drives all require a tremendous expenditure of energy. Where does all this energy come from? Why is the energy there sometimes and at other times you feel completely drained? Have you ever noticed that when you are mentally and emotionally drained, food doesn't help that much? Conversely, if you look at the times in your life when you were in love or excited and inspired by something, you were so filled with energy that you didn't even want to eat. This energy we are discussing does not come from the calories your body burns from food. There is a source of energy you can draw upon from inside. It is distinct from the outer energy source. The best way to examine this source of energy is to look at an example. This is an interesting example. Maybe uh, actually, so far when I have read this chapters, I kind of understood, but when I read this example that I'm gonna read from now on, that's when I really got it. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see whether how you feel about it. I mean, please comment uh, whether it makes you feel the same way or not. Let's say that you are in your 20s and your girlfriend or boyfriend breaks up with you. You get so totally depressed that you start staying home alone. Soon, because you don't have the energy to clean up, everything ends up sprawled all over the floor. You can hardly get out of bed, so you just sleep all the time. You must be eating because there are pizza boxes lying all around, but nothing seems to help. You just have no energy. Your friends invite you out, but you decline. You're simply too tired to do anything. I guess people who have breakups definitely know what this is about. It's not only breakup with your girlfriend, it can be also when you have a huge fight with your friend or a very important relationship that falls apart. Okay, most people have been there at some time in their lives. You feel that you have no way out, and it seems like you will stay there forever. Then suddenly one day, The phone rings. It's your girlfriend. That's right, the one who dumped you 3 months ago. She's crying as she says, "Oh my god, do you remember me? I hope you'll still talk to me. I just feel so terrible. Leaving you was the worst mistake I ever made. I see now how important you are to me, and I can't live without you. The only real love I ever felt in my life was during the time we were together. Would you please forgive me? Could you ever forgive me? Can I come over and see you? Now, how are you doing? Seriously, how long does it take you to get enough energy to jump out of bed, clean up the apartment, take a shower, and get some color back in your face? It's practically instantaneous. You are filled with energy the moment you hang up the phone. How does this happen? How does this happen? You are completely drained. For months and months, you had no energy. Then, out of nowhere, in a matter of seconds, there is so much energy it blows you away. And this is what made me think because I know it. I have experienced it. Isn't everybody has experienced at some point in their lives such thing where like you were completely drained, but then just in a blip you flip. Okay. You can't just ignore these enormous shifts in your energy level. Where exactly did all that energy come from? There was no sudden change in your eating or sleeping habits. Yet, when your girlfriend comes by, you end up talking all night and going out to see the sunrise in the morning. You are not tired at all. You are together again. And you are holding hands, and these rushes of joy just won't stop overwhelming you. People see you and they remark that you look like a bundle of light. Where did all this energy come from? What you will see if you watch carefully is that you have a phenomenal amount of energy inside of you. It doesn't come from food and it doesn't come from sleep. This energy is always available to you. At any moment, you can draw upon it. It just wells up and fills you from inside. When you're filled with this energy, you feel like you could take on the world. When it is flowing strongly, you can actually feel it coursing through you in waves. It gushes up spontaneously from deep inside and restores and replenishes and recharges you. The only reason you don't feel this energy all the time is because you block it. You block it by closing your heart, by closing your mind, and by pulling yourself into a restrictive space inside. This closes you off from all the energy. When you close your heart or close your mind, you hide in the darkness within you. There is no light. There is no energy. There is nothing flowing. The energy is still there, but it can't get in. That is what it means to be blocked. That is why you have no energy when you are depressed. There are centers within that channel your energy flow. When you close them, there is no energy. When you open them, there is. Although various energy centers exist within you, the one you intuitively know the most about opening and closing is your heart. Let's say that you love somebody and you feel very open in their presence. Because you trust them, your walls come down, allowing you to feel lots of high energy. But but if they do something you don't like, the next time you see them, you don't feel so high. Isn't that interesting? It's sort of like every time you make a new friend, this the first love or first moments when you meet someone that you happen to like, but then you realize or they do something bad to you or something unexpected happens. Next time you see, you no longer feel it. It's sort of like you close your heart. That's what is being mentioned here. But if they do something you don't like, the next time you see them, you don't feel so high. You don't feel as much love. Instead, you feel a tightness in your chest. This happens because you closed your heart. The heart is an energy center and it can open or close. The yogis call energy centers chakras. When you close your heart center, energy can't flow in. When energy can't flow in, there's darkness. Depending upon how closed you are, you either feel tremendous disturbance or overwhelming lethargy. Often people fluctuate between these two states. If you then find out that your loved one didn't do anything wrong, or if they apologize to your satisfaction, your heart opens again. With this opening, you get filled with energy and the love starts flowing again. It's sort of like if a friend that you always wanted to communicate with you who was not communicating with you, and then after a while he or she starts communicating with you and you feel that openness. I have experienced it. How many times have you experienced these dynamics in your life? You have a wellspring of beautiful energy inside of you. When you are open, you feel it. When you are closed, you don't. This flow of energy comes from the depth of your being. It's been called by many names. In ancient Chinese medicine, it is called qi. In yoga, it is called shakti. In the West, it is called spirit. Call it anything you want. All the great spiritual traditions talk about your spiritual energy. They just give it different names. The spiritual energy is what you are experiencing when love rushes up into your heart. That is what you are experiencing when you are enthused by something. And all this high energy comes up inside of you. You should know about this energy because it's yours. It's your birthright and it's unlimited. You can call upon it anytime you want. It has nothing to do with age. Some 80-year-old people have the energy and enthusiasm of a child. They can work long hours for 7 days a week. It's just energy. Energy doesn't get old, it doesn't get tired, and it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. This energy is equally available to everybody. The sun does not shine differently on different people. If you are good, it shines on you. If you did something bad, it shines on you too. It's the same with the inner energy. The only difference is that with the inner energy, you have the ability to close up inside and block it. When you close, the energy stops flowing. When you open, all the energy rushes up inside of you. True spiritual teachings are about this energy and how to open to it. The only thing you have to know is that opening allows energy in and closing blocks it out. Now you have to decide whether or not you want this energy. How high do you want to get? How much love do you want to feel? How much enthusiasm do you want to have for the things you do? If enjoying a full life means experiencing high energy, love, and enthusiasm all the time, then don't ever close. There is a very simple method for staying open. You stay open by never closing. You stay open by never closing. It's really that simple. I'm not sure whether it's really that simple. All you have to do is decide whether you are willing to stay open or whether you think it's worth closing. You can actually train yourself to forget how to close. Closing is a habit, and just like any other habit, it can be broken. It's not written in this book, but I have some insight about it maybe. I think fear comes into play. I think we all know the openness and how high we can feel and how delighted we can feel. But at the same time, with all that energy, when you have extreme amount of energy, when you have extreme amount of enthusiasm, and you want to express yourself, um, you have this fear of how it will be received by everyone. It's sort of like it happened to me, like my girlfriend, like when I have this extreme enthusiasm. Oh, I want to tell her this because I had this insight, and um, I I am like fully delighted to share it. But um, the receiving end, how they will receive it, that ultimately changes how you feel about it after you share. And sometimes what can happen is that you can have, if you have done it before, you can anticipate that okay, my enthusiasm may not be matched with hers. Or you can similar examples also, like when you have a deep insight, and when you have an idea of a business, for example, and you are like super excited. Oh, like I have this idea and I want to, and then you share it to other people, and then if they don't understand it, then you feel discouraged. um, so sometimes we close our heart and not share it. I'm not saying that's what we should be doing. Maybe there's a better way of tackling how we feel when we don't receive, or maybe we should not be expecting whatsoever. Um, we should be valuing our own ideas on its own merit. So kind of like more prudent about it. So I just felt to expand on that. For example, you could be the type of person who has an underlying fear of people and tends to close when you first meet them. You could actually be in the habit of experiencing an uptight closing sensation whenever somebody walks up to you. You can train yourself to do the opposite. You can train yourself to open every time you see a person. It's just a question of whether you want to close or whether you want to be open, whether you want to open. It's ultimately under your control. The problem is we don't exercise that control. Under normal circumstances, our state of openness is left to psychological factors. Basically, we are programmed to open or close based upon our past experiences. Yeah, he kind of like reflects on what I was saying earlier. Impressions from the past are still inside of us, and they get stimulated by different events. If they were negative impressions, we tend to close. That's exactly what I was saying. If they were positive impressions, we tend to open. Let's say you smell a certain scent that reminds you of what it was like when you were young and somebody was cooking dinner. How you react to this scent depends upon the impressions left by your past experiences. Did you enjoy having dinner with the family? Was the food good? If so, then the smell of that scent warms you and opens you. If it wasn't so much fun eating together, or if you had to eat food you didn't like, then you tighten up and close. It really is that sensitive. A smell can make you open or close, and so can seeing a car of a certain color, or even the type of shoes a person is wearing. We are programmed based upon our past impressions, such that all kinds of things can cause us to open and close. If you pay attention, you will see it happen regularly throughout each day. But you should never leave something as important as your energy flow to chance. If you like energy, and you do, then don't ever close. The more you learn to stay open, the more the energy can flow into you. You practice opening by not closing. Anytime you start to close, ask yourself whether you really want to cut off the energy flow. Because if you want, you can learn to stay open no matter what happens in this world. You just make a commitment to explore your capacity for receiving unlimited energy. You simply decide not to close. At first, it feels unnatural since your innate tendency is to close as a means of protection. But closing your heart does not really protect you from anything. It just cuts you off from your source of energy. In the end, it only serves to lock you inside. When you'll find is that the only thing you really want from life is to feel enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? If you can always fill up, if you can always feel excited about the experience of the moment, then it doesn't make any difference what the experience is. No matter what it is, it's beautiful when you feel that way inside. So you learn to stay open no matter what happens. If you do, you get for free what everybody else is struggling for: love, enthusiasm, excitement, and energy. You simply realize that defining what you need in order to stay open actually ends up limiting you. If you make lists of how the world must be for you to open, you have limited your openness to those conditions. Better to be open no matter what. How you learn to stay open is up to you. The ultimate trick is to not close. If you don't close, you will have learned to stay open. Do not let anything that happens in life be important enough that you are willing to close your heart over it. When your heart starts to close, just say, "No, I am not going to close. I am going to relax. I am going to let this situation take place and be there with it." Honor and respect the situation and deal with it. By all means, deal with it. Do the best you can, but deal with it with openness. Deal with it with excitement and enthusiasm, no matter what it is. Just let it be the sport of the day. In time, you will find that you forget how to close. No matter what anyone does, no matter what situation takes place, you won't even feel the tendency to close. You will just embrace life with all your heart and soul. Once you have attained this very high state, your energy level will be phenomenal. You will have all the energy you need at all times. Just relax and open, and tremendous energy will rush up inside of you. You are only limited by your ability to stay open. If you really want to stay open, pay attention when you feel love and enthusiasm. Then ask yourself why you can't feel this all the time. Why does it have to go away? The answer is obvious. It only goes away if you choose to close. By closing, you are actually making the choice not to feel openness and love. You throw love away all the time. You feel love until somebody says something you don't like, and then you give up the love. You feel enthused about your job until someone criticizes something, and then you want to quit. It's your choice. You can either close because you don't like what happened, or you can keep feeling love and enthusiasm by not closing. As long as you are defining what you like and what you don't like, you will open and close. You're actually defining your limits. You are allowing your mind to create triggers that open and close you. Let go of that. Dare to be different. Enjoy all of life. The more you stay open, the more the energy flow can build. At some point, so much energy comes into you that it starts flowing out of you. You feel it as waves pouring off of you. You can actually feel it flowing off your hands, out your heart, through other energy centers. All these energy centers open, and a tremendous amount of energy starts flowing out of you. What is more, the energy affects other people. People can pick up on your energy, and you're feeding them with this flow. If you are willing to open even more, it never stops. You become a source of light for all those around you. The idea of these energy centers or chakras, I still have a skepticism about it. Maybe partly because I don't understand them, or partly because I have not experienced them. But I have met people who claim that they have experienced such. What's interesting that it's good. I know that some scientific discoveries or scientific experiments are happening to understand these things, and but whatever that is, the idea of openness and how we close our heart to people, to emotions, or to even past memories. We know we do it. We know how we ignore other people. We know how we close our heart for certain things that we don't like. And sometimes we do it thinking that's good for us. So the advice here is to be open, and there's more exploration to be done that I myself need to do. And okay, just keep opening and not closing. Wait until you see what happens to you. You can even affect the health of your body with your energy flow. When you start to feel the tendency of an illness coming on, you just relax and open. When you open, you bring more energy into the system, and it can heal. Energy can heal, and that's why love can heal. As you explore your inner energy, a whole world of discovery opens up to you. The most important thing in life is your inner energy. If you are always tired and never enthused, then life is no fun. Well, everybody will agree on that. But if you are always inspired and filled with energy, then every minute of every day is an exciting experience. Learn to work with these things through meditation, through awareness, and willful efforts. You can learn to keep your centers open. You do this by just relaxing and releasing. You do this by not buying into the concept that there is anything worth closing over. Remember, if you love life, nothing is worth closing over. Nothing ever is worth closing your heart over. So that's the end of the chapter. This touches on many other topics, mostly experiential, and you probably have seen the movie The Limitless. It also, in Limitless, they show that you take this pill and then you have this limitless energy or limitless abilities. But if you think deeply, those abilities or limitlessness, it's all inside you. It's just it gets triggered by an external pill, something that you are taking in, but it's all inside you. um, so infinite inner energy, there's more to explore. Everybody should explore it, and I suggest reading this book. Again, the book is called The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. It was a number one New York Times bestseller. Yeah, Michael S. Singer. I mean, I you should also be a skeptic towards a lot of spiritual people, like, because they claim unscientific things that you should not be always trusting. The whole idea is whether you can experience it in some way, and there's lots of bullshits in this space of spirituality. It has become a sort of business also, and so find the right kind of resources to learn more about it. But I hope this portion that I have read is was interesting, because I found it interesting. Let's be open. Thank you.